Hey guys, so in this video we will take some examples on macros to understand where they are used in real world. So here we have a program to swap two numbers. It takes the address of the numbers and makes a swap. We have given a value of 3 to A and 5 to B. Before swapping it should be 3 and 5 and after it should be 5 and 3. So let's try it out. So we are getting the results as expected. Now let's try this out with a swap macro. I will define a macro for swap here. Now let's try using the swap macro instead of this function. Let's try running it and we're getting the output. Let's see how does the file look after getting preprocessed. So here you can see swap macro was completely replaced by this. Now getting back to the code, we will split into different lines this macro because it's unclear this way. So to do that we need to use backslashes. Basically this tells the preprocessor that all of this is in a single line. Let me first do it and there. So basically this tells the preprocessor that all of this is on the same line. You can see by the syntax highlighting. This is all purple, I guess. Yeah. So there should be a backslash at the end of the line. If I put spaces after this, then it's invalid. It should be the last character on the line. So now let's do some benchmarking. We will see the differences in the time taken by swap macro and function. To do so, we will execute this swap macro like many times in a loop. Let's do that. So we are doing the swap operation like many times. What we will do is like first we will measure how much time this takes and after that we will do the same with function. So let's do this. This is the first one move. We'll take 3 readings. So on an average it will take like 2.9 seconds. So now let's try with function. We'll replace it with swap function and so first one takes 5 seconds. We'll take some more. So this takes around 4.5 seconds. So the point here is that in some scenarios, macros can be better than functions. Although it's not only about the replacement here, like the function has an overhead of being called, but it's not slow only because of that. It's slower because of this, it is dereferencing this address. That's also a major cause of this overhead. Although the results can be different if the optimizations are turned on, then it will depend on the optimizations that you have enabled and all. So for now we will just stick to the zero optimizations program and let's see one more thing. What would happen if instead of calling it like this, we do it like on a single line? This is a valid syntax. Let's try it with function. So if we do this, this works. Hit execute. Yeah. So if we do the same with macro, it's an error. The reason here is, first let's see the preprocessed file. Here, what is happening is that this loop only contains this statement. The other three statements are out of the loop. In the loop, we are only declaring temp, and also there is no temp outside the loop. So to fix this, what we will do is we will encapsulate this inside a do while loop. I will show you how. So basically what we did is we just put the statements inside a do while loop. What will happen is these statements will get executed once, but at the end the condition is false. It's a zero here, so it's a false, and this block will be executed only once. So before explaining more, let's try it out. And it's compiling. Now let's see the preprocessor output. So you see here what actually happened is in this loop, this is the only statement. This is a complete statement, do while. So it contains all of these. So the problem that we were facing before was solved by putting all these statements inside a do while loop. And as it's while 0, so it's only executed once. Now let's get back to the program. So you will see people use these do while 0, if 1, like people also use this. So these are some common constructs for doing the same thing. Basically what we are doing is that we are just creating a block that encapsulates all these statements. So this becomes valid. One more thing to note here is while using do while construct, if you have a semicolon at end, it is not good for an if else. Like you had this, if A is greater than B, so this will fail. Basically what will happen is there are two semicolons, like this semicolon and this. So let's try executing this. You see there's an error. Let's see the preprocessed output. So here you see under this if, there's only one statement of this do while. This single semicolon is a separate statement. But the requirement here is that else should appear after the only statement in if, because there are no curly braces. So if we remove the semicolon, this should work. This seems correct. Let's try compiling it, and it works. So in next video we will take an example of an error logging macro and a code profiling macro. So see you in the next video.